Yo, 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 it's the Co.
And yo, it's the Cone. Today we have the fifth edition of the Roundup. You know what? Let's go straight into it today. No beating around the bush. Let's start with game one, Liverpool and Wolves. Marco, your phone took over your camera. What's going on?
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Liverpool and Wolves. What did you think?
Um, they had a great start. Wolves had a great start from the South Korean men again. Hee Chang Wang scores again, his third goal of the year. But Liverpool just came back. Wolves looked great in the first half, but Liverpool looked great in the second half. They scored 3 goals in the last 45. And all I got to say is Harvey Elliott should have got awarded the goal. That is total bullcrap that it was an own goal, but it was, in my eyes, it was Harvey Elliott's goal.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Liverpool love going down early in games and then coming back. I think they just kind of want to show everyone that they're good, even though everyone knows that they're good. Yeah, it was a good win for them. I'm sure the first half wasn't exactly what they wanted. Obviously, didn't want to be down 1-0, but came back, took care of business, and I mean they looked in control the whole time. Shout out to Jarrell Kwanzaa, making his first start for the club. Played a really nice 80 so minutes. Mo Salah is the best winger in the Premier League. Yeah, great performance for them.
So our predictions were both 3-1 to Liverpool, and the actual score was 3-1. So that's a good prediction from us.
1-1.
For the second game, we had Villa versus Palace. Aidan?
Yeah, the comeback kids. Wow, for Aston Villa. It was pretty even-ish. I mean, Villa were the better team, which is, so I guess they got the 3 points, which is nice. Yeah, they played a pretty complete game. Moussa Diaby is really good. Douglas Luiz had a phenomenal game. That back line of Aston Villa are really solid. Crystal Palace, nothing to worry about in my eyes. I think they'll be fine. It's just one game.
Yeah. For my prediction, I said that Pau Torres, my honorable mention for Defender of the Year. He had a great pass that led to a goal in the first half, but it got called back because of an offsides. But after that, Palace came out of the second half with a lot of confidence, as you can see with them finding the net. And then, Villas come back in the 87th minute to score 1 goal. And then we see these long injury times helping out these teams. And it helped out Villa this time because they scored 2 goals in the 98th minute and the 101st minute to lead them to a great victory against a pretty good team this year.
Yeah, the long injury times definitely make it a bit more fun, but it's got to be grueling for the players. I can't imagine you just played 90 minutes and all of a sudden you see plus 11 on the board. But still, yeah, it allows for a lot of great comebacks like that. Moving on to the third game of the match week, Fulham and Luton. What did you think, Marco?
It was a very competitive match for both teams. We had some action in the last third from both sides. I think the Fulham goal shouldn't have been a goal. I think Luton Town got very unlucky at that moment, and it seemed to help out Fulham because they got a lot of momentum, but the match stayed at 1-0. So it was a great win for Fulham to get 3 points, but it was very disappointing for Luton Town because they should have walked out there with a point.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely should have walked out there with a point. Probably the best game that they've played in my eyes. I mean, you look at the possession and it's like 78-22 to Fulham, and you're like, oh man, they had more expected goals, they had more big chances. So really, and that's the thing with Luton Town. They can't be a team that tries to win the possession game because it's just not going to happen, especially against a team like Fulham when they have a strong midfield. Their defenders all know how to play from the back. Uh, yeah, I thought they did pretty well with taking advantage of their chances or trying their best to take advantage, but Fulham take care of business, get the 3 points. Unfortunate for Luton to still be pointless through 4.
For the next match, we have United versus Brighton. Aidan?
Yeah, it wasn't great. They try a new formation. They try that diamond midfield, and you get exposed when you're trying something for the first time, and it looked good at times. It looked bad at times. Eriksen can't be a winger. McTominay can't only attempt 17 passes as a midfielder in 85 minutes. A lot of unnecessary hate towards Rashford. I mean, obviously, there were times where he probably dribbled himself into a hole and should have maybe passed it out or gone and dribbled for a chance creation instead of just for himself. But it's going to happen when you have a guy of his caliber. But Brighton just took their chances and did well, and United didn't. I think that's kind of the most important point. We're filming this before they play Bayern, so I'm hoping to see if they do that again, that formation. I hope it's improved. If they go with a front 3 again instead of the front 2 of Højlund and Rashford, I hope they stay in that then. Just choose one and go with it. Don't try and keep mixing and matching.
Yeah, Brighton are dangerous this year, and it's going to be hard for anyone to beat them. They seem to punch Man United in the mouth, and United just didn't seem to get an answer out of their first goal, which they capitalized again with 2 more goals. The only positive side that I saw for United was Højlund, because he looked great. I know the 1 goal was just right outside the line for a goal kick, but he seemed to know where he was at, and I saw that the United fans were very upset to see him leave the pitch in the 64th minute, which shows that this team is not on the route that they want to be at.
Yeah, they definitely loved what they saw from him. I did too. Unlucky that the goal was disallowed. Also, shout out Hannibal. Came on. Honestly, didn't know he was in the matchday squad. I enjoyed him at Birmingham last year. I enjoyed what I saw from him in the preseason. I was happy that he came in and got his first goal for the club, or first goal in the Premier League for the club. Definitely gave a spark that they desperately needed. Next up, Tottenham and Sheffield United. Marco, what did you think?
It was not a great first half for any team, but coming out of the second half, Sheffield strike first. But with these long stoppage times, they're really helping out the top teams, because I feel like they're pushing even more in those final minutes. And it really seemed to help out Richarlison, because he got his first goal of the season, and then the second one by Kulusevski to help Spurs win a crucial game against a relegation team, which they need these 3 points if they want to compete for the title.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Richarlison, for all the mean words that I've said. He proved me wrong on Saturday. Good for him. It was a great comeback win for Tottenham. First, the Brennan Johnson goal gets disallowed, which unfortunate, but it was nice to see him being a threat. And then the hero, Richarlison, gets the goal. Gets the goal to draw it. Gets the assist to Kulusevski to win it. Yeah, pretty good game for Tottenham. Way to get 3 points, and they're still in the title race.
For the next match, we have West Ham versus City. I'm going to start off. I think Areola might be the best goalkeeper this year by a mile. He is just proving that he is the best in this league. He is a big part of West Ham's success, but he couldn't match City today, like that game. Even though James Ward-Prowse and West Ham scored first, the second half was all City. Jeremy Doku came out from the locker room and proved why he was signed to a City squad, because he came out and scored his first goal of many with City, and then a beauty of a pass from Alvarez to Bernardo Silva to lead to the second goal, and then the best player in the world, Haaland, for the third goal just to finish off West Ham.
Yeah, like you said, it wasn't a bad showing for West Ham. It could have been a whole lot worse. But yeah, not bad for West Ham, but yeah, City take care of business. Jeremy Doku, who you've been talking about since before City were even linked with him.
Yep.
So you knew his abilities, and he comes to the Premier League, and I think Pep said it best. He's a proper winger. Like, he is direct. He goes to goal. He's quick, dribbling. He's got it all. Yeah, Julian Alvarez. I say it every match that they play. Unbelievable. Good for Bernardo. Good for Haaland. Yeah, not bad.
For the seventh game, Newcastle versus Brentford. Aidan?
Yeah, it was a little boring. A little boring. Newcastle take care of business. It's just kind of what they do, especially at St. James Park, is slow, control the tempo. The chances are gonna come. In this case, it was a penalty, but it all counts. So they get the 3 points. I honestly didn't see the end of the game, but I see 3 yellow cards in like a 2-minute span for Newcastle. I'm sure it's time wasting, which is fine. I just thought that's a little funny, but yeah, pretty boring. But Newcastle take care of business and get 3 points, which at this point, with 6 points in 5 games, is pretty important for them.
Yeah, the game was very, very boring. It was a bad match for both teams. They had opportunities. They had 20 shots combined for both teams, but we only had 1 goal the whole game. Newcastle got a penalty that kind of sealed them to win, but they look very bad for a Champions League team. Very, very bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Now to another boring game, Bournemouth versus Chelsea.
Back boring game. Oh man, I love football Twitter, and on Saturday, Man United were getting flamed, and I went to bed Saturday night and I was like, Chelsea are not gonna get 3 points out of this game. It's just how it's gonna go. They were talking so much, and of course, Chelsea do what they do best, and that's disappoint. Robert Sanchez had a good game for the first time all season. That's nice. For the most part, it was, again, boring game. Both teams didn't play great. Did you see that Nicholas Jackson shot from his left foot? Oh boy, I'll have to send it to you. He, you know what? I'll put it here and risk the copyright strike. Just look, and it's terrible. Yeah, it sums up Chelsea for that match.
Yeah, very, very boring. Like, Chelsea can't seem to score, but they also can't seem to concede, which is like good and then bad. Like, both teams had 27 shots and no goals. There was no action, but I think Bournemouth walked out there with a win because they got a point out of it. Yeah, but just very boring. Now we go
On the
to
topic of boring.
another boring game: Everton versus Arsenal. I feel like this was a good win. I mean, it was a great win for Arsenal because they seem to struggle in Liverpool versus Everton. Like they go to the Everton ground and they don't seem to win. I think it was their first win in 6 years. But it's just like the Newcastle game. Like 1 goal for 21 shots on, like, it just, no, like the goal was nice. Trossard's goal, like, it was, the build-up was nice, the shot was nice. He just seemed to place it in the perfect position for the 1-0 win against Everton. But just boring matches this week.
Yeah, it was a great goal, like you said. I said it last week. It's tough to play at Goodison Park. Like you said, Arsenal struggled there for a long time. Pretty good game for David Raya, his first start for Arsenal. Saka was great. That midfield was pretty solid. Trossard, beautiful team goal finished off by Trossard to get them the 3 points. Arsenal are still in it as much as any other team in the Premier League.
Now for the last match, we had Forest versus Burnley. Aidan?
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. Again, a little slow, which is how it's going to be in a Forest and Burnley game at the City Ground. Matt Turner played pretty well. A couple goals or a goal ruled out for a handball. Beautiful goal by Callum Hudson-Odoi to salvage a draw. Luca Koleosho for Burnley. Please play for the U.S. Don't go to Italy. He is electric, really quick. First year in the Premier League, 19 years old. Wow, he's really good and one of the dual nationals that the U.S. have to at least do their best to try and get.
Yeah, I feel like it was a very competitive match for like you said, a Forest Burnley game. I think both goals were great, but Hudson Odoi's goal it was a screamer from outside the box. It just was placed perfectly, and it was a good game to end 1-1 because both teams are fighting to stay up in the Premier League, and I feel like both teams walk out with a win, just 1-1. Like, got to just capitalize on the mistakes that you made throughout the game and to just be happy to walk out with a point instead of no points.
For sure. Shall we move on to our predictions for this upcoming match week?
Yes.
First up.
You want to go?
You got it. That's all you. That's all you. You got it.
First matchup. They're all on Saturday and Sunday because of Champions League and Europa League and Conference League. But the first matchup we have is Crystal Palace versus Fulham.
It's got 1-1 written all over it, doesn't it? It really does.
1-1?
Huh?
Are you saying 1-1?
Yeah, it's got to be 1-1.
I'm going to do 2-1 the Palace. I feel like I've been putting a lot of disrespect on them, and they're proving me wrong. I think 2-1 the Palace. 2-1 the Palace is going to be great for them.
Next up, Luton Town and Wolves. Marco, prediction for the game.
Okay. I mean it this time. I mean it. Luton Town are getting their first points of the year. I think it's a comfortable 2-1 win against Wolves. Wolves are just not a competitive team. I know they look great against Liverpool, but it's against Liverpool. Like, everyone can look great against Liverpool and still get demolish like they did. So I think a 2-1 victory for Luton Town would be great.
Kenilworth Road is a tough place to play. Luton Town are going to get their first win of the season this Saturday. I have 1-0 Luton Town against Wolves.
Next up, we have Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest. Aidan?
Just such a close matchup, right? At the Etihad, Man City, Nottingham Forest. I'm gonna go 4-1 Man City. I think Forest get a goal at some point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one. Like, I mean, it's going to be a close one. I think City are going to rotate a lot this week because they are in the Champions League today against not a great team, and they're not playing a great team over the weekend. So I think a lot of rotations are going to happen. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win for City. I think Holland plays 60 minutes, gets out, gets rest. I think a 2-0 win.
Next up, Brentford and Everton.
Yeah, I
What do
have
you think?
1-1. I have 1-1 drawn to this. I don't think it's going to be a very boring match. I think both teams are going to get their goal and just walk out with a point.
Yeah, this has the potential to be the worst game of the season, right? Like it just does. Like Brentford are a team that, especially at their home ground, the game's gonna be a little slow, and then you have Everton who are not good. I, I'm gonna go 1-0 Brentford. I think it's gonna be close enough.
For the next match, we have Burnley versus Man United.
It's gonna be close. I think I'm gonna go 2-1 United. I think they kind of um, rally behind all the losses that they have and come back and do well and get a win.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's a win for Man United. They kind of need that confidence back. They need that confidence boost. They need that motivation to like go out on the pitch and show the fans why they're one of the best teams in England. So I think a 2-1 win also.
Moving on to the Sunday games, we have Arsenal and Tottenham, a little rivalry match. What do
I
you think?
just I think Tottenham are gonna just go out there and score goals, but like Arsenal always do, they come back somehow. They always come back, especially at home. I think it's gonna be a 3-2 win with Arsenal being down 2-1. I just think Arsenal are a great team when they're fighting back from a defeat.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to score 2 goals as well, but I think it's going to end 2-2. Like you said, I think 2-1 Tottenham at one point of the match is probably going to happen, and Arsenal will come back and at least get a point, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's not like most years or like last year, especially when Arsenal are doing well and Tottenham are struggling. Tottenham are here, are with them this year, and I think 2-2 is where I'm going to go.
Next up, we have Brighton versus Bournemouth. Aiden?
3-0. It's gonna be all Brighton. 3-0, simple, easy win for them.
I think this might be another great day for an Irishman. I think Ferguson gets 2 more goals this match day, and it's going to be a comfortable 4-0 win for Brighton.
Glad we agree with just how simple the win is going to be. Moving on to Chelsea and Aston Villa. Marco, what do you think?
I think, especially at Stamford Bridge, I think Chelsea lose again. They're not looking good. They just tied against Bournemouth. They're just not a good team to watch right now. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory for Villa.
Wow. Oh my. I'm gonna go. 1-1. Think it's gonna be slow. Not a ton of clear-cut chances, but Chelsea are gonna struggle to put the goals in, and I think similar to the Bournemouth match, Chelsea backline is gonna be pretty solid, or at least solid enough to salvage a draw.
Next match, we have Liverpool versus West Ham.
Uh 3-1, I think. Um, it's going to be similar to the Wolves game, just at Anfield this time. I think they actually score first this week. Um, maybe they go two up and then one goal for West Ham and then they score again. But I think 3-1.
I'm going to go for the same goals, but I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I think West Ham are a very good team. They kind of showed it against City, and I don't think I don't think Liverpool are on the same track as City. City are just a very dominant team, not to be biased, but I just think they're very dominant. They've been dominant for the last 6 years. So I think a 2-2 draw is going to be my prediction.
Fair enough. The final game of the match week is Sheffield United and Newcastle United.
I think Newcastle rebound. I think this is going to be a strong win for them. I think we're going to see the team that they brought out week 1 when they beat via 5-1. I think it's going to be a 3-0 win for Newcastle, and I think it kind of gives them also a confidence boost like United, and it shows them why they're one of the best teams in England as well.
Yeah, I feel similar. I'm gonna go 2-0 for Newcastle. Just kind of take care of business. Like you said, hopefully they want to go back to looking like they did that first match against Villa. I think this is the team to do it. Bit more experienced than Sheffield, and yeah, I think Newcastle get a 2-0 win. All right, that's our recap and predictions. Marco, you have anything for us?
Just like, subscribe, put down in the comments what you thought about the last week, what you're going to think about the next week, your predictions as well. We would like to see what you guys predict.